Imagine standing hundreds of thousands of kilometers away from Earth. The world is holding its breath. Millions are watching. One man slowly climbs down a ladder, places his boot onto an unfamiliar world, and speaks just one sentence. Those words would become one of the most unforgettable quotes in human history. This is the history behind Neil Armstrong's greatest saying and why the world still remembers them. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. July 20, 1969. The Eagle lunar module had finally landed. The fuel tank was nearly empty. Every second mattered. Neil Armstrong carefully climbed down the ladder. Then his left foot touched the moon. He quietly said, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." Whether or not listener heard the tiny word, hey, it did not matter. The meaning was unforgettable. One man's simple step represented thousands of years of human curiosity, science, courage, and imagination. It was not just Neil Armstrong walking, it was humanity reaching further than ever before. That single sentence instantly became the most famous quote ever spoken in space. Why it became famous? Because it perfectly captured the idea that one person's achievement can change the future for everyone. Even today, it symbolizes exploration, hope, and human progress. Mystery creates wonder, and wonder is the basis of man's desire to understand. Long before rockets reached the moon, humans looked into the night sky with question. Why are we here? What's beyond those stars? Neil Armstrong believed that curiosity, not certainty, is what moves civilization forward. He knew every scientific breakthrough started with someone asking a question. Without mystery, there would be no exploration. Without wonder, there would be no discoveries. His words remind us that the unknown is not something to fear. It's something to chase. Why it became famous? Science students, teachers, and dreamers love this quote because it celebrates curiosity as the driving force behind every great discovery. Research is creating new knowledge. People often think heroes simply act, but Armstrong understood that before every giant leap comes year of careful study, thousands of engineers, millions of calculations, countless failed experiments. Every success begins with research. Knowledge is built one discovery at a time. This short sentence has become a favorite in school and universities around the world because it reminds us that progress starts with learning. Why it became famous? It captures the true spirit of science in just a few simple words. I believe every human has a finite number of heartbeats. I don't intend to waste any of mine. Neil Armstrong was not fearless. He simply refused to waste his life waiting for the perfect moment. As a pilot, test flight engineer, and astronaut, he constantly faced danger. He knew life was limited. Instead of counting the days, he filled them with purpose. His message was not about talking reckless risks. It was about making every heartbeat meaningful. Why it became famous? It encouraged people to stop procrastinating and start living with purpose. Geologists have a saying, rocks remember. To most people, the moon looked like a lifeless desert. To Armstrong, every rock was a history book. Each stone preserved billions of years of cosmic history. The moon was not silent. It had simply been waiting for someone to read its history. That's why astronauts carefully collected lunar samples. Those rocks changed what scientists knew about the origins of the moon and even Earth itself. Why it became famous? They could beautifully explain how nature holds clues to the history of our universe. As long as there are history books, Neil Armstrong will be included. Neil Armstrong never enjoyed fame. He rarely gave interviews. He preferred a quiet life. Yet history had already written his name, not because he wanted attention, but because he accomplished something no human had ever done before. His life reminds us that true greatness often belongs to those who seek purpose rather than applause. Why it became famous? It reflects Armstrong's lasting legacy as a pioneer whose achievement will always be remembered. Pilots take no special joy in working. Pilot like flying. Before he became the first man on the moon, Neil Armstrong was one of the world's finest pilots. Flying was not simply his job, it was his passion. Every flight represented freedom. Every takeoff represented possibility. This could show the simple truth behind extraordinary people. Even legends are driven by ordinary passion. Why it became famous? It reveals the humble personality behind one of history's greatest explorers. Neil Armstrong did not speak often, but when he did, the world listened. His words remind us that courage begins with curiosity, that knowledge begins with caution, and that even the smallest step can become a giant leap for humanity. Perhaps that why, more than half a century later, his voice still echoes across history, not from the surface of the moon, but from the hearts of everyone who dares to dream. If you enjoyed this journey through Neil Armstrong unforgettable words, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Share in the comments which could inspire you the most and why. Until next time, keep looking up because the next giant leap may begin with your own small step.